let's continue with our discussion from last week on whether the dancehall sector is competitive and as vibrant as it was some years ago. In studios with me, Black Santino and Root Eye. We are waiting Mr. Logic and JMJ himself, who is a minute away.
My father who acts in Ethiopia reigns supreme over every creature. He is the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. Alpha and Omega. If it is any Emmanuel, only a whole da. Piara will go Piara. Medi Wichi, Piara will go Piara, Minami, Medi Wichi. Piara will go Piara, Medi Wichi. Piara will go Piara, Minami, Medi Wichi. Papa Mo, Bonnie Mo, Medi Wichi. Oh, Yemo. Sikemo, Medi Wichida, Enijemo Sumo, Medi Wichida, Owomo.
Start now. As and when JMJ joins us, we can continue with wherever we left off. Santino, welcome once again. Let me say thank you for skipping something very important to you to join me this morning. I am humbled and I appreciate this so much. I only want to put it on air for our listeners to know that there is something we were supposed to do today, but you had to sacrifice that because you wanted to join us on the show, and I'm grateful you took that decision. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will also replicate this thing you've done for me this morning one day.
That's right.
Thank you very much. Anyway, so we will surely speak on the Sila song, but should anybody ask you if the current dancehall terrain, if it is competitive and vibrant, should a question like that be thrown to you, if it is as it was some years ago, what will be your answer?
It is competitive. It is yes, like I said, it is, you know what I'm saying, but you know, music always evolves, you know, with the time and generations. You understand what I'm saying? So what was happening back in the day cannot be compared to what is happening today. It has improved in a positive and negative way.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
If you say positive, what do you mean by that, and then negative too?
Okay, positive, I mean, we're trying to create an atmosphere with the reggae and dancehall scene. You know, right now it is big. Reggae dancehall is huge. Every other artist likes to pinch a little of dancehall music into his thing. So that is a good thing for all of us, especially those of us in the industry who are trying to push this genre. That is a big thing for us. The bad is the quality of the productions, and of course, you know, now we have a genre in Ghana we call Afro dancehall. You understand? Do you know that? So there has been a little shift from the real dancehall that we know. I appreciate the Afro dancehall because we must represent ourselves in the music. You know what I'm saying? So it's very, very, very great. So that is where the little changes have been. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And the youth must find their niche in this whole industry. You know, earlier on I was telling most of the youths, you need to name this genre that you've created, because there was a lot of Ghanaian influence into the dancehall that has created this whole Afro dancehall genre. You know what I'm saying? So in the beginning I was telling them, look, you need to put a name to this genre, you need to put a name to this rhythm, because of course this is not the typical Jamaican rhythm that we know for dancehall. You know what I'm saying? There's been the Ghanaian influence, or say the Afro influence in there. So you know, we're starting a reggae dancehall awards scheme.
Yes.
You know, so
You are starting it.
yes, it started.
But there is a Base Awards.
Base Awards.
Yeah.
Oh, were you out of this country?
I've been here since like.
Base Awards has been dead for some time now.
So
it doesn't.
How about putting some energy and bring it back?
Well, it depends. You can talk to the organizers about that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't on the organizer. I was on the board.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can talk to the organizers about that, because Base Awards was highly appreciated and respected. But well, I wouldn't be in a position to say why it was called.
Okay.
So like I'm saying, there's a new reggae dancehall awards scheme coming up.
Okay.
And one of the questions I raised when they mentioned Afro
So we share
dancehall,
We share this.
I was like, who created this name, and is it an accepted name? And one of the Daddy Bosco was like, okay, let's Google. So they Googled it, and it's there, Afro dancehall. So I said, okay, then once it's been accepted from all of us, then we must add it to the scheme. So it's there. Afro dancehall is part of the reggae dancehall award scheme now.
Okay. So in a situation where somebody says, if you want to compare the dancehall sector some 10 years ago, where we had Samini was active, Stomba was active, there was Ghetto KB, I1 was most of the guys were doing it. If you want to compare that era to now, that if you look at what the kind of songs we have now, there is none. Like there is no one dancehall song that is like banging now. If you want to compare that era, can somebody use that to say because of that, the sector is not as competitive as it was some years ago?
Okay, you see your reason what you created right now. That was when the Afro thing started coming into the reggae dancehall music. When you had all the names that you mentioned. Before these names, there were names like this man here. You see this man here sitting here. Me and him have a big fight, because these are the superstars we were looking up to. You know, when they started playing reggae and dancehall on the radio, General Marcus was the first youth who actually came out in style, featuring this my brother here, Root Eye. These two came up in style, and after that, this man, he used to be fabulous. They used to have a team called the River House Crew. Alright?
Oh yeah.
River House Crew. These were the guys with Black Prophet, and these were coming from the reggae roots scene. This guy had bobo, you know. Used to tie his hair, big Rastaman this. You know? So we were looking up for these guys to really push the thing to that level. You know? But when he traveled, he went to Jamaica, lived there for years. So we were expecting once this guy comes back, trouble. And then when he came back, he became a panel. Now I'm here sitting with him as a panel. You know, so this guy must bear some of the faults for what we are suffering now. I'm telling you. And this guy sitting here right now, Mr. Logic, if create a rhythm, whatever, the wickedest dancehall rhythm, put him on it right now, and hear what will happen. This man can come back into the industry and own it when we're talking dancehall. You understand? So,
Logic.
When the likes of them started fading out, the names that you started mentioning also coming in. These were coming in from the high life, hip life background.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I remember.
It is worthy to note that all the names that came later, came from studying the River House Crew. because of the location. So you can because of the location,
Dansoman.
and then
Everything was happening around that area.
So every one of them that were coming sounded like them, sounded like the River House group.
Oh, Charlie.
Okay. All right. Logic. Good morning.
Charlie, good morning.
You've been accused.
It's a big Hamas leg on your head tonight.
You've been accused this morning. Are you going to accept that?
Well, let me say good morning again. You know, I think Black Santino just went back to history, and he's right. Those days, anytime you talk about sound system, I mean, if you pick it from the sound system era, when I see Lagazi and Co pushing sound system, and I get excited, because these were the agendas that Santino them started. Those days in Ghana, if you say reggae, once you mention reggae, Santino's name is the first name that we mention. In terms of dance, we'll go to dance, and your biggest dream is for Santino to give you the mic. You understand? To give you the mic for you to come in. I mean, it was a real hustle. So it started from that side, right up to Jaramakos. Those times, Rutai. If I hear Rutai name, they are vexed. I say, hey, that guy, I will battle him, because Rutai shot into mainstream with Jaramakos, and he was very good with Chi. So at that time, Rutai became our competitor. Like we have to deal with that guy, and see the whole fraternity. Everybody knew everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm happy Black Santino went back. Now, for my part, we stepped in with some level of revolutionary Rasta invasion. As we have,
serious.
That was how we stepped in. It was very serious, and we took it to a different level, as in the movement, what you call religion, combined with the music.
With the music, turning out serious conscious lyrics.
Consciousness. So there's no way I will allow you to talk to me.
Look, let me just say this. This guy was doing what Sizzla started.
Oh yeah, yes. So
I'm telling you.
Yes. So
he had a bobo on. He was turning out serious lyrics.
Yes. So when I go to Jamaica, Sizzla was the one that I was even living with. So the whole thing. If we have to start the origin of reggae and dancehall in Ghana, it has to start from the sound system side, because that was how we used to get to hear the songs. Because Santino has all the plate, he has the black knot sound. If you're a reggae person and you are not linked with black knot sound, it means you are not part of the thing.
I'm not cutting you.
Yeah.
But there was a phase in my life where every single day I used to pass through the weekends. I passed through the black knot sounds. And Father Santino used to give me some beans and
oh my God.
And fried plantain.
When will you stop talking about this?
Every day.
You see?
Every day.
So this history, that's from Vibe FM.
Yeah.
That was the biggest reggae show on radio.
I'm a product of the Yard and Foreign.
So you see, if we are talking the evolution of how the thing has changed to this level, we're still going to go back to Dansoman, because you had Wale living in Dansoman. Samini was living in Dansoman. Yeah. Samini, as a matter of fact, I can always say that Sonny Bali, they were all youths that when I was coming up, they were looking up to, because that was my area. Everybody lived, and nobody's head was up.
Nobody.
No, none of them. You see, so
the name they gave to themselves refers you straight to Jamaica.
Jamaica. It was just
River House crew.
So let me end it so that you can ask the next question. So Santino, I mean, the blame he put on me, yes, I can accept. Because when I came back, I also realized that it was only Samini. Because before I left, Samini was coming up. Coming up, like in the area, you hear Batman, that's in the local area. Right. So I met him once. I said, Charlie, the way you go hard there. I mean, people would tell me, the guy sound like you, I said, the way you go hard there, you will go far. I remember telling Samini one-on-one. Then I left. So when I came back, Samini had taken over the place so hard. Then I said, no, the way Samini alone do their thing, we need to get involved. That time, I think Santino had left radio.
I was on radio.
2009. Oh, sorry, YFM. Sorry about that. I was on YFM. But then the youth had moved a bit from the roots that we started.
That's right.
Into the hip life, mainstream tree and things. So that was when I also took on to radio. Because when I went to Jamaica, I went to understudy some radio presenters and stuff. So I said, no, let me take on radio and pick up from where Santino left off. Because when Santino was on Vibe FM, I saw how it was vibrant and how we all want to go on that show. That's okay. If Santino's kind of thing is not really like before, it was like Monday to Friday, it is all about Santino on the radio. So then I pick up from XFM.
That's right.
And started to groom artists. That's how come Jupiter
and that's
episode,
where all
the boy Vibrant Fire, Shatter. So it was a new phase of the same thing that I started that I couldn't end. But then, music is ageless. Me and Ruth just got into the studio, and what we did, if you don't know us, you will not know that these are like grown, matured men. And me anytime, like Santino said, most of the songs I write for my artists. And it's coming from my brain. It sounds so youthful. So, I can always come in, like he said. So I'm happy that anytime we sit, this history comes back to us. Quickly on Rutai. Rutai, when I met Jeramarcus through Mausi, thank you. Then, the Rutai, when I heard of Rutai on radio or so, I said, they say, Charlie, someone come say, Charlie, here's some guy who come Rutai. Hey, be serious. Then I took time to hear Rutai on that time. Get chance to you can meet the person. You just be hearing boys talking about. And someone told me about Rutai. Then I heard Rutai on Jeramarcus.
That's right.
Song. Then I was also told that he's the one that is behind the whole Jeramarcus thing. So you see, we knew ourselves from that time, but this time it's not like that. So I would say that the blame there, if you have to blame, we all will take some. Santino will take like 80% of the blame.
How?
Explain it. Because him was the one that we all were looking up to. As anybody want to do reggae dance, so you want to go to Santino in show top. You want sound or song to listen to so you can build up from there, you have to go to Santino. You want a link to some big artists or some Jamaican artists, you have to go to Santino. So like every youth coming up, it be Santino be the conversation. Santino they play my song, Santino vex up. It's all about Santino. Me, for instance, I'll always be in his house. We'll be vibing. I just want him to play my song safe. Sometimes I have to go to his house. So you see,
I am happy.
Let me give him 70.
No, wasn't I doing my job? No, wasn't I doing my job?
You did your job.
That's right.
You did your job, but you didn't finish it for us.
No. You see, when you came from Jamaica and you started XFM, I was happy about what you were doing because all of, like you're saying, everybody can come to me. And the thing has become very youthful.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm known for my roots. I play a lot of roots music. You know what I'm saying? So definitely it was kind of changing. So you came on, and if you had come and you at the time you came, you had songs. You would have brought it to me. Because now you came, you're also a presenter.
I'm still wondering.
I'll defend logic here. I feel what he went through.
Yes.
Please let me sit the mic. Excuse me. My defense for logic was that, you see, it's like having so much knowledge, okay, and keeping it all to yourself feels so evil.
Yes.
You feel so empty. You just want to give out. So I feel like I've been in his position a number of times where you can do this for yourself, but you can even do it bigger when you live through others.
That's right.
Yes.
And that's what he came to do.
Yes.
So when I was having this chat with you earlier on, I said when Logic came, what he should have, if he didn't want to go to the music scene again, he should have set up a record label and a studio. And bring out talents because he's good at that as well.
Developing.
I mean,
but I think he did that.
Guy who made Shatter out
He
there.
did that. He did that through his radio show, and even recorded some of them. All of them, everyone. Because I remember when he came back from Jamaica. My first time meeting you with all the artists. I have the picture.
Yes.
I have a photograph.
Yes,
okay, on music.
Yes,
he brought
all of them.
the whole entourage, all of them.
Was the host.
Then I had become a host. You see, and the reason I'm saying I share in his feeling or sentiments was the fact that, you see, knowing that you have learned so much, but it becomes so little if you live for yourself. But it becomes bigger if you open it up and bring in more of the youth coming up.
Exactly what I did.
And that's what he did.
Yeah, exactly what I did.
And it paid off.
Exactly what I did.
It paid off because today we have the Jupiters, we have the name them, the episodes, Shatter, I Want, Vibrant Power of Blessed Memories. All of them came through that. So for me, he played. But I also understand, Father Santino, because he expected more of him.
Yeah, musically.
Boy sounded too sweet.
This is my superstar. I know where this guy come from.
No, if anybody that understood the music, enjoyed listening to when you have a little bit of logic, it was like, why is this guy not giving us enough?
Yeah. And at the time,
why is this guy not giving us enough?
At the time, it wasn't easy to be just doing dancehall and reggae. Nobody cares about it. So I was very, very, very happy that they weren't switching, because they could have switched into hip life anytime and also make some money. But they kept the culture, Him and Chidifara. Man, if these guys bust. Up to tomorrow, man. Up to tomorrow. Charlie, you have to come through my launching, man.
Welcome. Why not?
Send me a picture, make up.
The history must be told all the time. So you see those with us now. It's JMJ. JMJ, baby. Good morning.
First of all, good morning to our cherished listeners and the senior colleagues have just come to me today. It's amazing. The senior man sitting down far away from me. I've never met him before.
Really? Wow.
Today is the first time.
Oh,
it's like,
wow.
I swear.
Santino.
Wow. I heard his name.
This is serious.
I always hear that.
And you know, me, when he was a YFM, okay, let's say my talents, YFM will play the majority of the role pushing them. So I knew most of the people at YFM, from back door to front to, and from Vibe FM days, but we never met.
You never met?
We never.
That is serious.
I'd never seen him before.
Wow.
But
that is very serious.
But I knew who he was. I knew what he had done, what he was doing. I mean, back then, and even till now. And two people made it possible for me to know who he was. It was Elombini and Samini, who kept telling me who he is and what he's been. And then I think I had this friend at BB Manson, Radio Gold, who also kept telling me,
that's right.
Listen, what you are doing, have you met Black Santana? I haven't met him, but I've had the chance to listen to a lot of his works. So first of all, let me say it's an honor to be in the presence of greatness. I mean, for the names you were mentioning, I knew all of them, but then I hadn't shot in yet. So to be seated next to them feels like, oh, okay. I'm close to. They say if
you have arrived,
aim for the heavens, and if you don't, you are even among the stars. I mean, you are there. So it feels good. Yeah. So good morning to all of them.
Okay. So if we move to this direction, let us go back to our earlier conversation on the song. So Santino, the song I'm about playing, this is the man who produced the song. This man. Yeah, this is.
The sons
That's him. That's him. See you.
And to I and I, Rastafari, sons and daughters of the Holy One of creation. As Jah
before you came in, I don't know if you were listening.
Okay, I was driving fast and furious because I was late, so I wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
Yeah.
For a minute or two, can you tell us how you made the song?
Oh. Like this song, I can take the entire credit for it. Okay, so first I did the digital one, and then Samini. Like I told you, I was not really. I like to give credit to who credit is due. I was not really a reggae dancehall person. No. The switch started from Elombini. I'm a typical church R&B boy. That's me. And so back then, I was working with Case Frequency, Kekedua, Apietus, Danny Nete, name all those people. And that house was a label, Nananom, Chico Downey, NFL, name all these people. So that was where I came from. So when Sammy B, those days Sammy B used to do a lot of radio commercials, Interplaza and all of this stuff. So he would come around the studios at the Salem Down. Then it was like, then I'll play him beats. You're like, you're really good. So when I left Case Frequency, he was the first person who would stand in front of my studio, and when artists are passing, we just be pulling them in for me. I remember the first time I met in Kase, it was through him. Then he brought me Samini. So that was where the whole thing began from. So when I met Samini said, give me some rhythms, and I was giving him R&B beat. The guy left, he didn't come back again. I got home. My cousin was like, listen, if Samini passed through and you could not do a song for him, and then he had just been signed as MTN ambassador. Yeah, so how are you going to be a producer in this game if Samini didn't get a beat from you? So you know what? Start listening to her life, hip life. You'll be able to merge it into what you really love and catch them. So I spent 2 days just, and then I begged his then manager, Tony, that you know what? Let the guy pass through the studio again. And luckily for me, opposite me was Ben and B, where they were styling him. You remember those days? His second album, he had some costumes he was wearing. So then he was going to come for costume again, and that gave me a chance to meet him again. So when he came this time, I load this song, African Lady. And I said, yes, these are the kind of beats I want. I'm like, oh, these.
Like Soca Calypso.
Yeah, Soca Calypso. I said, really?
Fast-paced.
Within 2 minutes, he had killed it. Then when he was leaving, he said, I have this song. Let me sing it for you. Then he sang just a piece. Billy, oh, nana, Billy, oh. Can you do something? So I recorded a part of it. By the time he came back, it took me like less than 2 hours, and I killed that one too. Wow. So I realized that, okay, then I was pushing too much. It was just simple stuff. Just keep it simple. And then he loved it. That was the beginning of me and Samini, our relationship. Then came in Elom. Elom was this guy who was coming from Volta. And every time, Charlie, this guy would travel from Volta to Accra, just bringing us dancehall songs. We had just signed Stone Boy. I mean, you know, Stone was under high grade then. So he would bring collections. And then you tell me, listen to this, boss. And I kind of love it. Then it was between Vibes and me. I was a pure dancehall guy. So I fell in love from Vibes and Movado. And I love Vibes, but I couldn't choose because I love Movado's also same. And that was when I started flirting with reggae dancehall music. And it was purely because of Elombini. Because then my biggest client also was Samini, and Samini represented this genre. So then I had to get into it and understand it. That was the whole thing. So I quickly, switched and then fell in love with it. And I truly fell in love with it. It was I love the energy, because when I play a beat, before I play a beat, because I'm an artist first, I imagine how the artist should ride it.
On it. That's good.
And dancehall artists had this attitude.
That helps.
Nobody drives beats better. Like, he won't give you space, timing, everything is on. Yeah. Like, it's great, especially if the person has melody in addition. Yeah. Like, put him even on hip hop, he will kill it. Move him anywhere, he will kill it. So I love them. So this kept going on till one day I played a beat, And then Elon was like, Jay, this video will for turn him to rhythm. I was like, what is rhythm? Oh, let other artists ride it. I'm like, no. One beat for one artist. No. And we're arguing. And he said, the following day, he brought me a collection of rhythms. And I spent like a week. I'm like, wow. And each artist bring out different melody on same beat, different subject. It was killer to me. I was like, no. So I said, so what do we do? He said, allow me to introduce you to how it's done. So then Stone was our first artist in the studio, high grade. So Stone jumped on it and he did Hills and Valley. Then Samini killed it with Ghetto KB, what's her name? Trigger Rhythm. Then Mugis jumped on I Want. Then the thing just
blew up.
Exploded. And before I see it, they were crediting me for doing the first rhythm. I was like, what is? And so you see, clearly I was being led, whether, let me say, for destiny or whatever, it was just pushing me at the right place because I had the right people around me. And it was just a beautiful journey. And then we started going. From then, we did the most troublesome one, Scatterbad Man. That brought the whole trouble between Samini and Wale, back and forth. But it was a beautiful journey. And sitting here today, especially meeting Black Santino, it feels like, okay, they say the steps of a righteous man is ordered.
Sila.
Even though that wasn't what I had wanted to do, somehow, whether the Spirit of God, whether the Spirit of reggae dance or whatever it is, kept maneuvering my steps till I found myself where I am, Wow. So, and as for these two people, they forget.
How did you do Sila? Yeah. How did you do Sila?
So Sila, like I said, first, once again, Samini came and was like, yo, we need to do an Nyabingi song. I'm like, what is Nyabingi? So I called Elon. Then Elon once again brought me 5 Nyabingi songs. Right. I realized that, okay, this is a spiritual song because paying attention to the lyrics, I noticed it was purely gospel. Yeah. They were not cursing words. They were just adoring the maker, basically. That's right. And then I noticed the instrumentation were purely very, very authentic, percussive, less synth, less of any
more drums.
Yes, purely drums. And then they had names for these drums. I didn't even know. So I listened. A week later, then I played that. Then I call Yuma. Yuma will usually, when he's stepping out from, what's the name of the house? Exhibition. He will pass through the studio before step out. So I played it. Those days there were no pen drives and this thing, so I had to load it on a CD. He had this black car be like that. Then he slotted in. By the time Yuma will get to Runabout, if you know where my studio was, he called back that, listen, I like this. I'm coming back to the studio.
Wow.
Take your time, and I wanted to know even if I did it right. I said it's perfect. Yeah. And then he came, he just freestyle. Like the man won't write. He just freestyle. And then Tony was like, Jay, I love this, but you know what? We need to do something to this. I said, what was it? It's so much synth. Let's get this Nyabingi drums, bring them in, record them all over again. I said, okay. Then he said he had these guys in, is it Ebri or somewhere? Joe, Somanya, Jabi them. One day I was in the studio, the first time I saw locks touching the floor. Not like from, and he had even tiled, but yesterday was touching the floor. And there were about 4 of them. Then they brought this drums. So I took time and recorded all of them and sampled it. Right. So they played I've forgotten the names of it, different types, and then I sampled it and recreated it again. So I wanted it to move away from the synth stuff, the electronic drums I had used to feel. And then we finished that like 2 days. Then the 3rd day they came. When they came this time, this man called Jabi was with them, and Jabi was like, how will I describe Jabi in the studio that day? He was like the Moses to Aaron or Joshua while they were going. He was directing Samini. You know how the studio is? There's this glass and the vocal booth is in there, and then Jabi was behind it, and he was just kind of just giving him some inspiration. And then after, Jabi went to do the intro and then the outro also. And it was amazing that day. Jabi changed my name. My name is Joshua. He said Aisha. I'm like, these people, you know, these people. The conversation that day it was fun. It was learning for me, learning so much, getting inspired by all these people, and we did it. And you know, that album had too many songs, so other songs sat on that particular album, but because it was a good song, years after it found its way back into this. We didn't even promote it. The team didn't even cut a promo CD for Sila. No, it was mainly the hit songs back then. We're focusing.
The first time I heard this song from Samini, I was like, "Wow, Samini did this song." You know what I'm saying? That was long. It was
on the second album, long. And we just left it. But people like Black Rasta, I noticed he loved the song and he kept playing it it became like a sing tune. And then people started, because I think Black Rasta understood the kind of song that song was. And so he had a perfect timing for it.
Fridays.
His shows. And he would play it. I was like, whoa, this is the first time I actually heard this song on radio. Because I thought people didn't really appreciate the Nyabingi thing. But they did. And
my first time I heard that song, I shook. I froze.
To hear from Samini.
Yeah, to hear a song like that from Samini. You know, and my respect from Samini, you know, comes from a lot of things. But this is one of the reasons. One of them. Okay. I mean, the fact that he did, and he sang some lines in key,
and then also in his language.
In his language.
In his Dagati. Oh, if you play
it's crazy. This song is crazy.
His language.
Yeah, this song is something else, man.
Purely his language.
Anyway, it's 11:10 Friday on 3FM 92.7. Mr. Logic, I would want to start with you as we move into this conversation on the problems we highlighted last week on our topic, if the dancehall sector is as competitive as it was some years ago. So we noticed that production was one of the problems, songwriting was one of the problems, and then promotion was also another problem.
Yes.
I don't know if I should throw to GMJ because he is a producer, but I know you are a producer yourself. It's right if I should throw it to you. What is wrong with the production these days?
Okay, since GMJ is here, I would like to give a very divided response. So he will take the other part. I mean, on the side of, I will take the songwriting, even though it will still touch production in a way, because it works hand in hand.
Right.
You know, the problem begins with the song, I should say, because when you go to the studio, the first approach from a producer is sing, make her hear. In most cases, professional producers will ask you to sing, make her hear, so they will be able to time your melody and find what key
to play
will fit before they even play. And when these artists go to the studio, because their songs are not well arranged, well written, and most melodies are flat in, and they don't even know what they sing is what we produce for them. Because some producers cannot even tell that. Some of them, when they get fed up with what you are saying, because it's dancehall and raga, and they cannot even decode the language, and some of these, mismatched melodies, they will just play something for you with a progression they know, cuckoo, 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 and expect you all to enter up, because once they give you that background, drums and kicks,
you pick it up
from there, and then their work is done. They put in few other melodies and it's over. But when you go to people like JMJ, who is very melodic when it comes to production, he will obviously want to correct your melodies. I know how they work. And also few of them like MOG Beat, Master Gazi, Cash 2. I'm mentioning producers who want to hear something more convincing before they play, compared to the little ones. So the problem starts with the songwriting. That's where the problem is. Now, to get the songwriting right, I mostly tell my artists, those who I work with, that look, when you want to write, first of all, if you are not a piano player, you don't know how to play keys and play keyboard and all those things, start with humming. Hum the melody, because if you don't know how to hum melody, then I don't know what music you are doing. So you start by learn to hum melodies, because that's what the pianists and the keyboardists they do. They sit down and they start humming, and then they be playing at the same time with their hand to create melodies. So hum the melody, hum it, and record it. When you finish, find the words to put in. Find the right words, because not every word fits a melody. But if you don't know professionally, you think, oh, it's fine. Find a word to fit in, but then you must also have, you must also understand the template or the theme of what you want to write about. I always say, some will say, oh, the song there, if I finish away, I get a title. I mean, how does that work? It's like, you know, when you tell me a thing like that,
every essay must have
a theme. Because that's what the music is about.
I have noticed.
I will leave some for
these
you
days. I've noticed these days you would hear the song and even the title in the song.
It doesn't
correlate at all.
Thank you. No correlation, because the artist developed the title after he has finished the song. So there's no concept. You see, he's talking about car. At the same time, talking about some hustle, some money, some slap beat.
How can you do that?
Basa, scattered. So it makes it difficult for the producers to be able to create a music for you, because based on what you're singing and the content of your song, they will know whether this is a commercial song, it's an inspirational song, it's an emotional song, it's a dirge, it's whatever. So they will play according to what you are singing. So when you come with such scattered melodies, no head and tail and thing, it makes it hard for people to create. And we don't even know that the whole creativity comes from within. They think, Charlie, the instrument they play, make you go. The producer also has to feel what you are doing before they play. So I will put the blame, first of all. We have a lot of colleagues here, so let me leave some. I will put the blame on the first step of the songwriting. The melody making. Let me start for the melody making, because we have melody makers who don't write. And we have lyricists who don't compose. So you see, yes, there are lyricists, they just write the words for you. Some of them it's coordinate in a rhyme. Some it doesn't. It's just pure essay. You have to put them together.
Okay.
So you see how the structure is. All those things doesn't work here. We just go and then one person just sit down and put everything together and it finish. So it starts with the melody making, because it's melodies that you make. That's why the new category in the Grammy, they say, if you read the category, they said melodic. Go and read it. See, melodic, harmonic. We haven't even considered what the details of the categories. We're already jumping for joy. We'll be here, the Nigerians will be doing, you see how they get melodies? They'll use their melody to kill the category for us, and we'll say it is bias. It's not bias. They stated it melodic, harmonic. It is there. The new category they created for the Grammys. So
that's what African music
it's all about melody. So we start with the melody, then to the songwriting. Let me leave the rest for Utai.
Okay, Utai.
Yes, so we'll leave the rest to the producer to handle. But I just want to add just a little tiny something to what Logic just said, and I'm trying to create a picture. You see, when you're writing a song, the first thing that must come to your mind is that, like a kente weaver weaving kente. When you look at the kente cloth, it has rhymes, okay, in the design. You see that a part will go like straight lines, and then after like 8 straight lines, we'll shift to like 4 horizontal lines. So there's a pattern. The rationale behind that is that you create some sort of a recall on the minds of the person listening to your song. So if I create something that says, my deepest pain, my heaviest rain, I'm no more sane, without you life won't be the same. You get me? So it has rhymes, and it has the line, every line is sung in a certain melody. And so if it's repeated, what it does to you is that when you listen to it like 2-3 times, you begin to sing along without you even knowing it. It resonates with you. So in writing your songs, it's not just putting the words together, but you're creating melodies, and also creating melodies that can be easily recorded. Okay? So create the melodies like you're weaving kente. Okay? Create the whole thing like you're drawing a photograph, you're drawing a picture. Okay? Like you're drawing a picture. That way, when I pick the music and I'm unable to even pick the lyrics immediately, the melody of the song okay, stays with me. So by the time I listen to the song for like 4 times, I'm beginning to pick the melodies. And even if it's in a language that I don't speak, I can hum, or I can even make sounds, okay, repeat the sounds I'm hearing, okay. In phonetics and philology, we have something called transcribing, okay, where you're transcribing sounds. So now you begin to make a mental transcribing of the words in the song. So you create recall for whoever is listening to you. That's why Bounty Killer will say, listen to these Africans. They just take a topic and then they repeat it, and then it sticks with you. And that's what our music is. That is what music is, melody. And it must come in a certain, it must come in some patterns, in some uniform patterns. Do you get it? So you create recall. Let me leave the rest to the producer.
JMJ.
I have two great composers. I mean, see, music for me is very spiritual. Some of us hear or see music as like having a body on its own. You see, I categorize musicians in some form. There are some people who are called by music. There are some people who admire it. And then there are people who go to learn it. All these 3 people, their approach and their life about music is different thing. Those who are called, their whole life is music. Even in their flaws, it's music. And then they have people who have gone to school to learn music, to want to be like these people. And then there are those who have money or who have chance and luck push them one way or the other, they find themselves there. So once we understand this, we always know that, okay, it won't all be 100% because there'll be all kinds of people doing music because of the glamour and the whole thing that associates with music. So we kind of attract both professionals, the calls, and then the non-calling ones among us. Okay, now let's move on. Like Logic was saying, you see, back then, to even get a chance to enter into studio, hey, it's taking you forever. They have just few studios. You would have performed that your song, live sound before somebody will hear you and say, yo, you're good. I want to help you. What do we do? Then now that financier bankroller goes to see the studio manager, pay them. And that payment means that they've bought hours for you. So if now you are going to start learning or creating your song, your hours is going, the studio owner will be making money off you. So most of them, if you really, they were bands, they've learned, rehearsed their songs before they go to the studio to go and record. So it means that where the mistakes perfection, they have done all of that before they come to studio. Now, back then, artists would have to compose his music before he comes to studio. Today is in 2 forms. Producers create beats, send to artists, and then bang. Or somebody will compose his own stuff and then bring it to studio. Now, like Logic was saying, music, because it's spiritual, there are certain tones. When I put them on a loop for you, and you put them on your headset, it can put you to sleep within a short period of time. There are certain tones, when I loop them for you, it can bring an aggressive side of you. There are certain tones, like tones, melodies have there's a science behind what we do. You understand? So if the artist has a theme, let's say we are doing a love song, but in an aggressive form or in a laid back, the producer knows that the tones I need to use to bring you, the producer, you are just coloring all what he had painted in his mind. You are not competing with him. You want to bring out the picture he had in his mind. So first you have to be able to enter into his head, understand what he wants, and then be able to put all of them together so that when the listener hears it, he can understand what Logic was dreaming about in his head when he wanted to write the song. So if I'm not able to get what he wanted to do, I'll be going right, he'll also be going left, like he said. So you hear some songs, you're like, the song is dope. Maybe if you have given it to this other producer, it would have been better. Yes. Or this beat was dope. The artist no fit kill him. All because the two marriage or relationship didn't really work well, because either the producer did not understand the artist or the artist. So there always has to be some marriage between the two people. Okay, so let's move on. The next thing I want to tell you also is we have different types of rhyme, like you were saying. You can even rhyme melodically. And all of that is to make your listener, make things easier for them to grab. And like the mind always have this recall.
That's what they call it, resonance rhyme.
Exactly. You want them to. Some people just watch an artist do something and it sticks in their head forever.
Yes.
And because of that, they are loyal to that artist. It is because he crafted them in a way that it will get stuck in your memory. If you just put it any which way, the mind has 1,000,001 things at a second. So it will just pass through and go. Okay. Another thing you want to also focus on is, you see, equipment. And the equipment that have finance and all of that. Let me be honest with you and very, very blatant and sincere. First, I want to even appreciate every producer. Those I know, those I've never met. But I can tell you that they are under staff. They are under, like, equipment-wise. We don't even exist. Like, when the Academy of Producers meet and they even show a picture of what we use to even get what you guys don't feel or is not standard and all of that, they'll clap for us. Don't even believe it. Some of the best songs you hear from me were produced from Pentium 3, Pentium 2.
Wow.
Whereas we are talking about $1 million studios with world-class.
Yeah.
Like, guys, it's also because sometimes when I hear some of this, I don't get offended because I know that they don't know what they are saying. They just know that, it's not good, it's not good. It doesn't sound good. But they don't know what it entails to get to that level. You understand? I've walked into studios that when I ask the studio owner, this is like $3 million, $4 million. And this is something that no individual here is willing to even dream about. Most of our producers you want to talk about, either their friend, their mother bought them a laptop, a PC, they had some small garage at home, and they started their own thing. Some don't even have. Listen, let's not go there. So first of all, I want to appreciate every producer because I know what they have and what they are able to come out with, what they have. If we have quarter of the equipment some other countries have or investors have, trust me, our producers will be doing sicker, way better than we have now. Now, to even get it further, a lot of the artists that we have don't even pay producers. I mean, if it's a 360 cycle of business, the chain where the music attracts this amount of money, it goes to the artist, it goes to the where's the percentage that goes to the studio, the producer, to even go and invest? See, I come online, I see new plugins, and plugins are like 3,000, 4,000 to just update. That's why most of our colleagues are using cracks, because they can't even afford it. To even start it, tried versions, demo versions. To even start, or first of all, they were not even selling to West Africans because we didn't even have credit cards to buy those stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
guys, sometimes I just don't want to, like, it's disrespect to our people. But they don't say it. They just absorb all the blame. Oh, the sound quality, and Nigerian sound quality is always better than this. And excuse me, I hear a lot of crap. And then they just throw it to the producer.
2.7.
And then the end result of a failed artist is always the producer or the manager.
Yeah.
There's no way they ever put the artist that he did something wrong. No. When me and Kaki fell off, everybody was insulting me. But they don't even know. And you know what? I don't blame them. There are a lot of people on radio. You know, Santino, back then, growing up, to be a panelist on radio, like you see what we are doing, do you know what it means? Let's educate some people small. You're a doctor and you come talking about a disease and prescribing medicine.
Right.
Do you know what it means? Somebody listening could die because
of what you said.
You said.
Yeah.
You didn't admit. You didn't even find out his blood group, whether that medicine, because of his blood group, is good for him or not. But because he had it on air. So do you know why? Back then, before they will call you a panelist, you must have been well invested in the subject. Why they are calling you on radio?
Very, very serious.
You understand? You must have been the type that they know that you.
That's the problem.
You know it. Media. But today,
everybody talking.
Let me show you what they do, Black Santino. Including this, my brother, including this station, their focus is more on clickbait, like subjects that will attract people to come and read.
That's right.
So, and even when they are choosing their panelists, they want people who come and give them the couch stew, chicken headline, and those kind of things that will attract people.
Listeners.
So then, and then also they will say, "Oh, that's what the listeners like now. We are doing," but you actually are an educative machine. You either educate them or you either take them down the mall. So if you tell me that the listeners love this kind of subject and so that's why we do it, then what it means is that they are ignorant. They don't know. Sure. So you are helping them go down the mall.
Serious.
In fact,
very serious.
You have said
you are helping them go. See this subject, my big brothers. That's why I don't normally like doing radio. My brother here would tell, we used to be pundits on. I stopped.
It's very serious.
Because I realized that
very serious.
They are not interested in you. They are not interested in it. Like by now, my two bomb beat. The online guys have picked it, and then they've put it out there, and then they bring you back, and then those are the because they too. This is what. So don't blame them too much because now. Their rate card is based on numbers on the program, on the traffic. So when they are selling their airtime to corporate brands, they tell them that listen, this show attract this X amount of people. So that's why we are charging you this amount of money. So you see, it's a cycle. But I put majority of the blame on them because they are an educational tool. They are the people that change the course of history or mess it up the more. And it's also because privatization. Individuals who have their own reason for opening stations also come in. So Charlie, the thing is, the mess is big.
I'm not cutting J. Before Santino comes in, I mean, I got a little experience with Charlie Sam when he was at GBC, because then that was around 91, 92. I used to follow Poncho, Samson Quay.
If you don't follow Poncho, then
I'm coming. So I basically will go to GBC, wait for Poncho to finish his show, and carry his bag, and walk him through. I mean, you go from office to office, and holding his bag. He goes to get his car, then I'll drop the bag at his car. Then go home. You know what I was coming to touch on where he stopped because Ruta is a broadcaster. Santino is a broadcaster.
I actually have an article online.
Yes.
Yeah, I have an article online. I published it, online. I think people should read that. My observation of how we messed this whole media thing up and brought it to where we are today, where the only thing that matters is your numbers as a radio or a TV station. I mean, as a media organization, all that matters to you, is numbers. And however means you're able to get the numbers, you do it.
You are good.
You are good.
Yes. Because
you get it. Because you're the one that you're the one that causes the sensations. You're the one that creates the most viral materials. The most viral headlines and stuff like that. So for me, I actually just gave up a radio show that I was hosting because the radio owner thought I wasn't interested in creating controversial those things. And I said, look, I'm not a clown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have my reputation to protect. I believe that my little contribution I've made towards the development of this thing, has caused people to look up to me. And so me. Meet me.
Okay. All right.
I've got kids. You know what I mean? Meet me. But that's, you see, so Jay has opened a can of worms. I wanted to. You should have let me land.
And then also they don't call you because you don't give them what they want.
Yeah.
You know, let me just like 1 minute because Santino is also standby. So you see, after I was doing all that because I had love for media, radio. So I had the love to speak on radio. I was doing that 1991. Poncho. I followed Poncho. I followed him. And even when he stole that the boy Kama, they even come and tell me, say, wait, they don't even give me seat at the reception. I'll be waiting outside.
Your passion was great.
It was serious passion I had for radio. I was standing outside till he finished and I hold him back. They go escort him. Then I think it was a time Charlie Sam saw me and he called me and said,
what have you been
I was at the
doing?
reception and he saw me and said, you're coming to Poncho? I said, yes. Then he said, follow me. So he took me in and said, every day I see you holding his bag, and then
what is it about?
After leaving him, escorting him to the car, then I see you walk away. You know, we say they drop you for the junction. Why? What do you do? I said, I'm in school, but I just love radio.
Yeah, this was when he was doing second generations.
That was GAR.
Yeah, no, it was Musi Japan.
Yes, it was. Poncho was doing GAR. He was doing reggae and reggae dancehall. I mean, that's 91.
Yeah. We used to hear it once a week.
It was once. Kochoko. Keteke. Thank you. Keteke. Because of Kochoko. So you see, Charlie Sam took me through the process. I was still in school, and sometime after school, I would go to GBC in my uniform. Then he would take me through what it takes to be a broadcaster, what you shouldn't do, what you should do. Look, it was like a classes till I got out of school, and I still went through that class. At the same time, I was following music. Then in my music process, I then started following, before I even met River School, I then also started following Zab Mallet at CHM.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, I will go and sit at Mataeko on that. Before the police station, I will sit at CHM. Wait, Zab will be recording people. I will be outside. I will sit down there and I go record about 50 people. I'm there. When he finish, you come and say, go and buy me this. And I'll get up and go and buy. I follow him from CHM. Then I got a chance to do a jingle for GAR. That was GAR because I was always around Zab. So there was an opportunity to do a radio jingle.
Okay.
Then fortunately I got pitched. Then Zab was the one that played the jingle. So then I got a chance. I followed Zab at CHM. Then he moved to Campsite.
Yeah.
Then I was still following him at Campsite. So you see, the thing, be something you start today and finish tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
We have been following the thing. I went through the apprenticeship for, look how many people have understudied. Poncho no big small when it comes to radio. Zab Mallet is a giant when it comes to production. So you see, before I even met the group, I had already oriented myself differently.
Right. Okay.
That's right.
All right. So let me pick this text message from one of my bosses here. His name is Astus Sahiable. I don't know if any of you.
Yeah, I know. Astus and I, we used to work. Astus used to be at an ad agency.
That's my brother, right?
An ad agency, and he used to come and record there at Case Frequency.
Oh wow. Okay. So he says that man sitting there, Santino, is a legend. 96, 97 Saturday mornings, it was like a religion. He made me hear of reggae artist Nasio Fontaine for the first time, and I became a fan. Never missed. Reggae was not getting airplay then. No. Yeah. He was a revolutionist. Rutai is also great. So, Santino, now I throw it back to you. What you were hearing back then, and what you heard some 10 years ago, even coming like now, what we are hearing now, what's the difference? What has changed in terms of production wise?
A lot have changed. A lot have changed.
Better than what you were hearing some years ago?
Let me explain myself.
Okay, all right.
You see what the brother just said? I mean, JMJ,
Yeah.
I mean, he's raised, like he said, ton of worms, man. I mean, I'm one person who blames them a lot. You know what I'm saying? What kind of production is this? Where did you record this from? And blah 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 blah. What he said right now has put me in a sense that where I'm like, these guys are doing their best with the little that they have.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? So I've had issues with artists a lot of the time because my boss Mike Cook is a serious production person. You know, so I'll play a song in the studio and then he will come and knock on the door and say something. Why? What kind of music? This is no radio
friendly
material. Then I'll say, yo boss, my people, I have to support them. I wouldn't be able to play GH reggae. I have to support them. You know what I'm saying? So we've had challenges about that production and all of that. But like he's saying, they are doing the best they can with the little they have. You know what I'm saying? And we were comparing what they're doing with what was coming from outside, which is very, very, very wrong. Even today, I'm realizing how wrong we are comparing that. Because like you're saying, when it comes to the equipment, Lord God, there are certain equipment that the cost for one will pay for everything. In some of the production houses we have here in Ghana. You know, so I think but it has improved because back in the day it wasn't even this much. We have just a few studios, 1 and 2, 3 who were doing all of this. You know what I'm saying? So. Well, it has improved a little, but it can be better.
Okay,
right. Let me just say something about the lyrics, about the songwriting. I'm not on that field. I play music. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, and I love to play a lot of inspirational music and conscious music. You know what I'm saying? So, if you are writing a song, who are you writing to? How do you want the people listening to your song to get the message? You know what I'm saying? What language do you have to express yourself very well into? Because I've played a song from my virgin who is an artist, and he told me that when he finished recording first time, he was so happy. He took the song to his mother, and then he was playing the song to the mother. After the song, the mother was like, I'm still waiting to hear your song.
I just played my song for you.
I just played it. And then the mother was like, what were you saying? I didn't hear anything you said.
You see, based on what Santino said, please,
let me pick
in now. You see, there is a generational approach to the song.
Yeah, of course.
That also brings us to the science part GMG race. No matter how old you are with music, if you're able to understand the generational gap, you can blow even at age 70.
Yeah.
Because I told one artist that, look, music is ageless because you need to understand the generations you are appealing to.
That's right.
Else you are doing nothing. Yeah. Number 2, you need to also understand that a certain conversation on the music, this is the target people I will be able to appeal to. And once I'm able to, you need to understand, say, all this they don't put in consideration. No. It's just like doing something, you just do the song. Yeah. So someone sent me a song, I listen to the song, I say, I asked the guy, first I said, what's the title of the song? He said, even now they come.
And do you know why it is like that too? It's because, like I said from the beginning, production has become extremely cheaper and cheaper and cheaper.
Right. Now?
Yeah. I mean, super. See, I can. You see my phone. If you give me 5 minutes, there's an app I can load. I'll play a beat
straight away
and send to any creative. I'll give to Logic to post on it
of course.
And I can upload. Rather than the
if I tell you how Willie Roy produced our beat, it was just like 10 minutes. Me and him just sit down there. No, we do 10 minutes.
So the problem too is that it's the good news, but at the same time,
it affects us.
You see, advancement brings both left and right. That's what happened. Back then, like I said, before you get into the studio, your song, you may have been at what's that place you go? That popular place used to do the Timbaland. You must have battled people and corrected your lyrics over and over.
We used to battle.
Right. So the time you get a chance to go to studio, let's just say
we will go battle for
perfected it. But now, in the luxury of my room, me bo beat new year. Now you see how they when forget to almost fatu air. They are good to go.
All right. Jim, kindly hold on. Let me pick this message from Elon Bini. It's quite lengthy, but I'll try and read everything. So Elon says, too much infusion of other genres in dancehall culture have it take a nosedive. Many producers and artists were too eager to fit into other global genres, so the foundation production got messed up. Yeah, music evolves, but when you move away from the basic foundation of any genre, you lose it. Bad songwriting. Many artists have moved away from the culture and the soul of the music, so plenty slack lyrics have taken over the soul of music. ugly attitude of some of the frontline artists caused the downfall. Many of them don't respect management contracts, performance contracts, technical riders, and people in the business community will rather turn to other genre artists who don't give them these wahala. Final one. Many of our frontline artists, both locally and internationally, have moved away from defending the culture. So the upcoming also don't feel the need to belong to one. There are many other factors, but I'm sure my seniors in the game have touched or will touch on these. My respect to these godfathers of mine in your studio. All of them have influenced and still influence me in diverse ways, and I am grateful.
Elombini, big up yourself.
There's a message from Robert Clark of PR Charter. Let me just read what he said. He always says this. He keeps saying that let the potatoes potate. Then this morning he says that he said we cannot allow non-experts to control the narrative of the industry.
That's true.
That we invest into. Most of them are just commentators.
That's true.
Which also brings us to the point GMG raised.
You see, on this point, let me say good morning to Bulldog. Bulldog and I.
Why didn't Bulldog come? Before you say good morning to him, why didn't he come?
I thought I was going to.
This is the second time he has not showed up.
So
Bull, why?
So I mean,
no.
Boo and I, we fought on this a few times, and one thing he said to me that really touched my heart was, these people you call pundits who come and run commentary, what is their investment in the game? We put money, as in Hebrew. He said he puts money into it, so he understands it.
A lot of sacrifice has gone into this.
Uncle, let me show you something. A young man like me,
there's a problem.
Went to see my mother's friend who was well-to-do. He's got money small, and then I lied to this woman, borrowed money from her to start a business, to start managing an artist, to invest on an artist. And when I did that, when the artist messed up, it became a debt that me and my mother had to pay. Now we did that till we blew one artist called Kaki. Then we move on. Now, if me, I am telling you how the industry is, I've put they say put your money where your mouth where your. I have done that. You can even barely give transport to an up and coming artist. That's right. But you feel you have the know-how to
criticize me,
because our industry is so open that anybody can be called a pundit, anybody can be a resource person, anybody could just come on radio and sometimes don't write and you ask them that wait, so you have all of this knowledge, why won't you be able to take your money into what you are saying? Because of the securities around it, you are afraid to. So if somebody has dared to, you and him, who are you supposed to even pay attention to? To solve this problem, until we start having a wardrobe sweep, until we start cleaning our home, like there are lots of crap.
I'm not cutting you.
Radio.
I'm not cutting you. The thing is, most of these program directors, program managers, and general managers taking over the radio space, that they don't even know the professionals. They don't know the ones that are professionals. That's the problem. Because
they can identify them.
As we started speaking, people who knows Rutai, knows Santino, knows JMJ, knows me, knows how far we've come with this radio business. That's why I gave you history of my radio background. Before I even jumped on radio, when I went to Jamaica, I understudied Scott Wilson. He's one of the biggest radio mainstream presenter in Jamaica, doing dancehall. Scott Wilson on Hot FM in Jamaica. I understudied him. So when I came and I was presenting, people say, you sound like Scott Wilson. I say, you don't know how long I've been following Scott Wilson in Jamaica. So I'm not just on radio talking because I can talk. I have a format, a template to my presentation. So up to today, people still call me, Charlie, come on radio. Some say release a song. Listen, they don't know which one you should do because you do all so well.
The thing is that
with the punditry, I'm not stopping you because I expect that if it's about production, let's call a professional, a producer, someone who has produced a hit, who knows the science between a hit. If it's about a songwriting, call somebody who's done. They don't do that.
And stop calling.
They don't call. They just call friends and
what they do is that they have friends.
No, but I'll tell you something.
And then they set the agenda before they come on air.
I'll tell you something.
What they want to propagate, discuss, and how they want the narrative to go.
To go.
So there was one time I had to pull out because what they wanted to do, I didn't buy into it.
That's right.
You understand?
That's right.
But then
let me just say, let me finish my statement before you cut me. I was talking about the songwriting. You know what I'm saying? And I said this, my friend played a song to his mother, and mother didn't understand the word he's saying. You know, so if you're writing a song, you're communicating songs to people. I always say music is the food of the soul, you know. So it must be consumed and consumed well. If you are sending this message to people, how do you convey your message to them perfectly without making mistakes? Because if you're conveying a message and you don't really end it well, it doesn't say anything. You know what I'm saying? So in which language should you even write to express yourself better? You know, a lot of boys want to sing in patois, and I always keep saying, look, you don't have to. You can speak you can speak English, and sometimes I feel I'm part of the contribution because I started speaking patois on radio, but I'm playing reggae. I'm playing the songs, and the language in the song is what I'm speaking. You know, but if you're also trying to convey your message through music, why don't you say it in the perfect language that you yourself understand what you're saying better? You know what I'm saying? So I think we need to also check this space, because back in the day we have people like Councillor Hayes, we have people like Felix Bell, we have big reggae bands out there that were playing big reggae show concerts. They weren't singing in patois.
Which of Bali's songs were in
JMJ, so let me take this opportunity to announce. Last week I did, but I want to do it again this week, based on what Santino recommended. We are about, we have the Songwriters Association. We are about to organize the first Songwriters Seminar, which will have speakers of, different kinds, people who write songs, who understand the literature behind songwriting. That's right. Because most people write songs, and even the past and the present will be clashing. Yes, you can say it's allowed because it's creativity, but then in communication it's not allowed. So you have to be able to decode in what language you want to communicate. And I always say that the melody communicates more than the lyrics sometimes. If you know the theme of what you are writing, you can just create a very short message, send a very short message in a very huge melody that people will be dancing and singing, but they are singing just small something, but they don't understand. So I think it is, the whole thing boils to the songwriting. The songwriting and the melody, they move hand in hand. Then we step into production. So please, let me also say that with the kind of panel you have this morning, I will encourage you that, I'm not saying you should keep the same panel, but in your subsequent conversation, please try and get specific people to speak, because this morning this conversation is pulling a lot of industry people. This morning I'm getting some feedbacks, and I think it makes so much sense to do that. Don't say don't you know that age is maturity? That's right. So that's on that one.
No, on the other, they will be asking Caleb. So, which part of what they say when we post, it will attract people? Until we've done that, we haven't show hasn't done anything.
It's okay. Anyway, so I would want to go to Zimbabwe now. Somebody's listening to us from Zimbabwe. Jifa Smith, I don't know if you know Jifa.
Zimbabwe now. Okay.
So Jifa says, I remember Black Santino and his colleagues during the days of Vibe FM at the Trust Towers.
That's right.
Those days, these folks will work with so much diligence, and my cook wanted perfection.
That's right.
I personally saw how hard and diligently the presenters and producers worked at Vibe FM those days, because I was working with Ibrahim Mohinijan at the then CFX Studios.
That's right.
Cypress Digital.
They and other Ace radio people in the late 90s and early 2000s were the true blazers. Respect to you, Black Santino. In fact, I'm humbled this morning. The kind of messages I've actually received because of you this morning, it brings a lot of
We've
joy.
done our thing, my lord.
God bless you. God bless you. So it's time for The battle amongst the various alumni groups in Ghana is the Kitchen War Season 2. All you need to do is to be a member of an SHS alumni group. Form a group of 6 cooks. Send your details via SMS to 0531 906281 to register for Kitchen War Season 2 and stand a chance of cooking your way to great prizes. Kitchen Wars, your school fee cook. And it is time for the bold, beautiful, intelligent, and confident women to step forth to lay claim to Ghana's most beautiful crown. Join the GMB audition train on Thursday, that's this past Thursday, 15th June, at the Gariba Lodge Hotel, Tamale, in Kumasi, at the Makelin Hotel. Today, 17th June, Takrade audition comes off at the Rainbow Hotel on Tuesday, 20th June. And finally, the Accra audition is at TV3 premises on Friday, 23rd June. Come dressed in your finest GTP mini skirts and white tank top. I repeat, come dressed in your finest GTP mini skirts and white tank top. Don't dress from your house as if you didn't hear this. Come in the prescribed attire. Don't come and do some things here. Showcase your talents and stand a chance of wearing the GMB crown, Ghana's beauty, African's pride. Anyway, let me get back in studio again. Rutai, this should be very quick.
Okay.
Grammys, they've introduced 3 new categories, but I wanted to focus on that. Right. Focus on ours, the African best performance. Your take on that?
Okay. Which are the other categories?
Okay, let me.
I think I can make a proper presentation on this if I can understand, because I feel that we've come a long way, and we deserve a category. And I think that just African performer performance of the year is not enough. It's not enough for us.
Oh, really?
Yes, because we've arrived. African music has arrived. We've taken over. Listen, we were there at their Super Bowl recently, and we gave a great account of ourselves. I think that alone is an indication that something is happening. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a wave, there's a volcano erupting, and no one can stop it. So for me, we need much more than just one category that says best African performance.
Okay,
of the year.
So with the new additions, it's the best African music performance, the best alternative jazz album, and the best pop dance recording.
The best still American.
It's still American. For me, it's still political. It's still a bit political.
Okay.
They don't want to boldly say it, but the truth is what we're seeing.
Okay.
That Jamaica is complaining that African music has taken over. Afrobeat is taking over. Mm-hmm. America is in for a huge invasion, and it's happening. I mean, we're hearing African music playing in American clubs. Mm-hmm. We're having Afrobeat artists appearing on some of their major dope videos, and even talk shows and concerts. Yeah. We having African artists, getting booked by some of the major promoters across America. For me, that is something to be celebrated, and that is something the world must recognize. Yes. That we have arrived. Okay. And the thing is, you see, I don't know if it's the right expression, but there's a musical orbit, right, where music just evolves around this globe. Okay, we just go around. It's gotten to Africa, where it's here now, and it's not going to move from Africa anytime soon. Okay. Because we're giving the world what the world has been waiting for: melody, music that will get you dancing, and stuff like. Because at the end of the day, we're here in this world, for only about 3 or so reasons. You're here to learn to survive. You're here. All you want to do, or maybe 2 things. All you want to do is to live. Everybody will be running helter-skelter because everybody wants to survive. Yes. The second thing is everyone wants to be happy.
Right.
And we're making the world happy.
See,
we're making the world happy.
Music has come back to its origin.
Music.
Thank you. What he's saying.
Thank you.
What he wants to say is that music has been going around the globe. First, it started from here, but because the time it started and what was happening economically around the globe, nobody wanted to trumpet it. It's gone on and it's back home again. Everybody has taken a bite of African music one way or the other, from the jazz, from the funk, name all of them. Music actually originates from Africa. It's our way of communication. It's our, in fact, just say music has come back to its home. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. I mean,
Mr. Logic, wait. My question to you would be: should anybody ask you what is Ghanaian drill? What will be your answer?
Ghanaian drill.
Yes.
I mean, Ghanaian drill is, to me, is hip life. I will call it hip life. I mean, you can take the life from there, but you need to put the life there because we identified that genre as hip life. The rap, that's what we created. Seriously, they named it Ghanaian drill because we accepted the new name drill when the boys started.
Right.
So they had no choice than to put the drill there.
Was it wrong?
It wasn't wrong because technically it's indeed a drill based on the music underneath the song.
But it's still hip life.
Yes, it's still hip life. Now we cannot. Yes, hip life didn't work. It's because the leaders, we were not able. We the leaders, you see, the industry leaders, we need to understand.
Logic, that let me say what he wants you to say.
Let
me tell you. A minute. We don't have time. Let me show you. The drill song that took Ghana today.
Yes.
Let me ask you guys all a question. Who produced the beat?
Is it the Kofi Jamal's beat?
Even that song, do you know who produced the beat? It was a white boy.
Yes.
The Asaka song,
they took
yeah, sorry or so whatever. It was also a white boy's production.
Yeah.
They just downloaded the beat from it. So don't get it twisted.
It's hip life.
It is drill.
Yeah.
But this is the issue. From Ghana back in the days, anybody rapping over melody is considered
hip life. Yeah, hip life.
That's just it.
So let me answer you because that question you asked me, I mean, aside the drill explanation, let me touch on the Grammy issue. You understand? Because
in a minute. Yes, please.
I mean, Charlie, that's not enough. The Nigerians, I don't want us to see our people since this announcement came. Ghanaians, overexcitement is our problem. We are so excited to celebrate, but we are not careful to practice and to experiment. People are celebrating. Hey, even me especially. I made a statement on Hit FM. I don't know what's wrong with Hit FM. They went and carried a statement I made 2021, place it on their page, and come and see insult. Logic Jimmy for for the past 3 days. The insult and the sad thing is they tagged me. So the insult. You see, I see them. You see, it is sad. When I said it, it was indeed the truth. At that time, Americans, the Grammy board wasn't ready for drill.
Yeah.
It was a background agenda that some people started in combination with the Nigerians takeover. They had no choice than to allow this to happen. So now you, as a Ghanaian who hasn't made much impact on the American scene, being included now, you have to start thinking how you will make impact, not how you will celebrate a glory you did not contribute to. Okay. Now, yes, exactly. So my point is that yes, High Life is captured there. But do you know Nigerians also do High Life? Yeah. And these guys have the numbers even more than the Chris Browns and all these people. So don't be surprised. We sit down here instead of pushing, thinking ways to.
Nigerians will be winning that category.
I am telling you.
Let me tell you why.
And then they will say that.
First of all, we as usual, we are not done talking.
We are just fighting excitement.
Okay.
That's our problem.
Santino, please kindly wrap up for us in about 30 seconds and let us know about your lunch so that we can.
Yeah. So basically, a lot of people ask this question. Santino, we don't hear from you on radio. We don't hear from you. Are you back on radio? Are you not going back on radio? I've set up my own online radio, so you can always Google Yard and Foreign online radio, and you catch my live recordings. Play every time. And also, I'm launching the Wednesday night beach jam once again. Yeah, at La Boma Le Shrine. La Boma Beach, Le Shrine. La Boma is just after Labadi Beach. So that's on the 12th of July. and I'm having the rain god himself to launch it.
Okay.
And it's my birthday as well. So
Oh wow.
Everybody who loves have felt me. Come, let's celebrate.
Okay.
La Boma, Le
Right.
Shrine.
Okay.
On the
All
12th
right.
of July with
All right,
Sami.
so,
You know.
Black Santino. All right, so my time is up. We're back same time next week here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Caleb. Let me say a very big thank you to all my pundits. JMJ, Root I, Mr. Logic, Black Santino. Over there, I see Kojo Preko Dankwa, Inoke Japan, the Vim crew. They are here. When we finish, we're going to continue there. In your speakers now, it's something new from Mr. Logic's camp.
She really think me want her, man. She don't know him a chase after me. Most spent. Sure. Every time you give it to me, better make me scream. You won't be there with me. Hooks me and take over the scene. Me happy ever play me